So if you have chosen number 4 is the walrus. Oops, I'm in an angle. It is the walrus and the carpenter. Well, they were both very unpleasant characters. This is about manipulation, human-animal nature, judgment, contradiction, self-awareness, compassion. Alice is disturbed by the poem The Walrus and the Carpenter. It is a tale told by Tweedledee and the walrus and the carpenter who lure an assemblage of young oysters away from their home and eat them up despite of the entreaties of the little bivalves. At first, she decides that she likes the walrus best because he expressed sorrow for eating the oyster, and he and the carpenter has tricked into becoming their lunch. But there she finds out that the walrus ate more than the carpenter by hiding his enormous intake with handkerchief. She decided that the carpenter is more likable. But then Alice learned that the carpenter ate as many as he could and finally decided, well, they were both very unpleasant characters. The walrus and the carpenter have noshed their way into your reading to serve up a little humble pie. Alice is going back and forth trying to decide which two. It's lopsided. The walrus or the carpenter is more culpable in consumption of the helpless sea snack. First of all, it seemed that Bit Nitpick tried to determine which is more representable. They both had the same intention and colluded in polishing off every last one. But when it's come to write down, neither of them really did anything other than what was in his nature. The walrus certainly is a creature of the sea and shouldn't be judged by eating what is only natural for him. The carpenter as well has done nothing particular out of the line, at least as far as Alice was concerned. During Alice's own dinner party, the one that thrown to celebrate her crowning as the queen, she herself cut pieces out and talking pudding and has every intention in digging into mutton that she has been introduced to. There hardly seems to be any difference between this and the action of a hungry beachcombers. Once one had a conversation with something, it breaks certain moral code in the Wonderland to eat it, it seems. But since Alice ended up breaking the same code, who is to pass on the judgment? It is easy to get caught up in the finite details of the offenses of others, both petty and great. This distraction, however, serves absolutely no good. It doesn't end up the delinquent behavior of others, it only facilitates our own myopic ignorance of our own limitation and shortcomings. I actually prefer to call them growing edges, because these is the current edges of our growth in a certain area, and instead of seeing them as faults, we can look at them in the place we could use our mindful development. It's relative things and labeling what we don't agree with as bad or doesn't engender the motivation to actually cultivate ourselves in these underdeveloped areas. We tend to hide whatever we feel ashamed of, which leads to continued stunting of our growth. Keeping attitude of growth to our less developed area allow much easier path to self-improvement. It is an ironic phenomenon that we frequently bother by behavior that ourselves are guilty to some extent. Sometimes we have overcome